Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. My name is Jason. Welcome to this whiskey review here on my channel, where today we're going to be reviewing a whiskey from the Blended Whisky Company, and that is the XL Blend batch number 1. Now this is a whiskey which is actually XL Blend means 40 years in Roman numerals, and it's actually 40 years plus to what I've read on this one, as the whiskies, as it's a blended whiskey, it's got whiskies in there that are minimum 40 years of age, which is going to be quite an incredible thing. Now this is also in my Whiskey of the Year video, so if you have missed that, I'll leave that link to the top corner. Go and check out the Whiskey of the Year video and you'll see exactly which award this one does pick up. So, pop that down over there. Oh, I want to dive straight into the nose. So much tropical characters. So this is a minimum of 40 years of age, and it is a blended whiskey, so it contains grain, malt, etc. It is bottled at an ABV of 46.2% ABV, and the parent company is the Blended Whisky Company. They're owned by a parent company called Atom Brands, and they're the same people that own Batiki Whiskey. And you guys know I love Batiki Whiskey, as my whole wall here, or part of it, is Batiki Whiskey postcards. So the price point on a full-size bottle of this one comes in at £548. And yes, it is exclusive, as it is limited to 1,000 bottles. Once those 1,000 bottles are gone, that is the end of this blend. And I believe they'll work on batch 2 and batch 3, etc. afterwards. Now, in terms of this whiskey, I just want to jump straight into the nose. But actually, I want to start things out. As you guys can see, I've got Roy Aquavite's challenge coin. But I want to ask as a question of the day, I've got some plans to do some merch. So how many of you guys would like challenge coins? I actually might do a separate video as well. I'll leave that as a comment of the day or question of the day. Leave in the comments if you guys would like a challenge coin and how many would you like, because I'm trying to think of numbers to get. So let's get into the nosing notes, into the nose. So starting things out on the nose with this XL Blend, wow. It's got a very nice, refreshing character to it. You get these stewed red apples. I get a little bit of raspberry, and it's got like almost like a tangy raspberry character, so to speak. And that leads into the next notes on the nose, which is almost like a sour pear. I'm getting a nice sort of sweeter caramel note that sort of develops underneath that. And from that, I'm getting butterscotch. It reminds me actually of Werther's Original, a sweet that we used to get when I was younger, and that just, you know, nice butterscotchy character. Citrus then develops after that with tangerines. And it's got this, it's like a sweet, almost like, it's like tree sap, a sweet tree sap. And I was doing a bit of gardening. I know it's winter here, but I was doing a bit of gardening. And one of my trees in particular starts having this tree sap as it had a little bit of a wound. And I can see why the bugs love this, because it's got like this nice sweeter aroma about it. A nice aromatic, fragrant approach to it. Bit of maple syrup, apricots, lots of nice apricot jam actually. It's like a mixture of apricots and apricot jam as well. Maybe these apricot bits inside it. That aromatic oak again really coming through. It actually reminds me of a little set that sometimes if you have, when you go to the house shops, when you're buying things for your house like furniture, they have these little pieces of wood chippings, etc. that are nice and have this little aromatic character. A little bit like that actually. And that fragrant character develops on, but on the end of this one, it really reminds me of rice pudding. And it's like a creamy rice pudding. It's like a dessert. If you guys haven't tried it, you have to try it. But it's like rice pudding with saffron. And saffron is something that's more expensive than gold. It's so expensive, but we use it in Indian cooking. But when you put a bit of saffron, just a few strands of saffron into rice pudding, and it changes the color a little bit. And oh, it's got something that really takes me back to my childhood, and just, it's making my mouth water just thinking of it. I really love to do that actually in a minute, but it's just so expensive to buy saffron. Let's get into the palate next, because I'm really loving the nose of this whiskey. Into the palate. So now into the actual palate for the XL Blend. And I'm actually torn between two tasting notes, but I'll work my way into them. We start out with a lot of these tropical exotic fruits. Ripe pineapple, papaya. And it's like a ripe papaya, not like one of those ones that you get, you know, early on. I'm thinking guava, but no, papaya is definitely, it's a ripe papaya that really just comes to mind. If any of you guys have got this, or even have bought a dram of this, try it out. Let me know what you think. If you're getting papaya or guava, I'm torn between two minds of this one. Tropical fruit salad coming into this one with a combination of pears, apples, citrus in that tangerines, a little bit sweeter, apricots, peaches, and then it gets a little bit hotter on the palate. A bit of these spices make an introduction, a little peppery spice, followed up by a gingery heat. And that really starts to come back as it sort of develops further. And from that then, afterwards on the palate, you're left with these on the sides, these dark dried fruits like dark plums, and a little bit of licorice actually, to be honest, on the end. And then just as that's all about to finish, you get a nice sweet coat. And that's like treacle for me. It's just more comforting after that sort of that licorice character came in. I'm actually on a flavour roller coaster in this video. That is actually really interesting for a blend. And that's one thing I like about blends, is that they can take you from one side to the other of the spectrum and flavours. And it's something that really just really great. So let's get into the finish, and I'll give you my tasting notes on the finish and my overall concluding notes. The finish length on this one is nice and long, and it's really great. But it starts out with this toasted vanilla, a little bit of coconut cream, coconut milk. As the texture is a little bit more richer. Apricots, peaches. It actually kind of reminds me of a little bit more like a grainy character coming through, where I get those, you know, classic vanillas and coconut characters really straight away up on the back. There is a little bit of wood spices in this one, a little bit of treacle making its way through, and a little bit of these stewed fruits like apples specifically. But overall, it keeps going, and that's one thing I really like, the length in this one. There was a slight little bit of character that developed, and that heat from the palate, where I got that gingery hint, I felt was a little bit, you know, pulling it down just a bit. But in terms of the score for this one, it's going to score quite well. This is getting, Mr. Banana is going to be helping me out with the score today. It's getting a 92 out of 100, because overall, I really enjoy this. For a blend, it took me on a roller coaster of flavour, but it also took me to, like, things that reminded me that I tried in my childhood, and it was just, you know, when a whiskey does that, it gets really a good mark. It just really took me all over the place, took me back in history, took me all over the flavour profile spectrum. In terms of nose, really great nose in this one. In terms of palate, great in itself. The only thing is that little bit of heat from that spice. I don't know where that came from. That was the only thing I felt pulling me down, and a slight tannin quality on the actual finish. But overall, that whiskey is a really good whiskey. Do I think it's value for money at £548? Personally, I'd like to see it a little bit cheaper, if I'm being honest. I respect the fact that it's 40 years old, but, you know, 350, 400 sounds a bit more right to me as a blend. And then, you know, in terms of does it need water, does it need time? Personally, it's one of those whiskies, I think, just drink it how it is. If you want to add a few drops of water just to reduce that heat, by all means do so. But I really, really love that whiskey. This is why it picked up an award in my Whiskey of the Year video. It was just, you know, wow. So I'm going to leave the video at that, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you guys for the support here on the channel. Also, let me know the question of the day. Would you guys like a challenge coin? And leave that down below in the comment section, as I'm going to be trying to get those made within the next month or so. I'm trying to get a lot of merch created for the channel. But yeah, Mr. Bananas, I'm sure he loved it as well. Drop it a like if you have enjoyed the video. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And I'll leave some other videos on screen for you guys to watch. But this has been me, JasonWhiskyWise, Mr. Bananas. And we'll catch you for the next video. Slàinte.